Welcome back to another episode of the DRN podcast. I'm your host, as always, Dustin, and today we're going to speak about the cell phone culture. Oh boy, this one's an interesting one. We all know how this one is. So let's just get right into it right away. And I'm going to start off by talking about cell phone usage while driving. Oh, we've all been there. Drive down the road, someone's not paying attention, and you look over at them, and there they are at the steering wheel, one hand on, face down, and texting. And then they go through a red light, a stop sign, and they're swerving all over the road. Man, I just don't get it, though. Like, me, I learned when I was a kid, because I used to use my phone when I first started out driving. I never had an accident, but, I've had a close call before, and that's what kind of was like, you know what, this is stupid. And I'm glad I learned. Other people don't seem to learn nowadays. But man, I realized that you can wait. Facebook, text messages, all that can wait. And now with cell phones and Bluetoothing, you can have it up to you, hook it up to your Bluetooth to your car, put the phone in your pocket, and if you really need to take a call, you can just push it on the steering wheel to answer it and talk while you're driving and being able to still pay attention to the road and use, But usually I don't even answer that. I usually turn my phone on silence. I shove it in my pocket after I've already set the music if I'm going to use my Spotify or something like that. And if something were to happen, like the music turned off, oh well. If someone's calling me, usually don't even answer it anyways because it's on silent. I mean, I'll see it up there on my stereo system, and I'll be like, it can wait. So with that, there way too many accidents, way too many fatalities because of cell phone usage. Now, on top of that, we have cell phone usage even in the workplace. Now, this one is one that bugs me a lot. Now, I use my phone at work, in between times of when I'm busy, breaks and stuff like that, or when I'm outside smoking or something like that. Okay. But, I mean, if you can't use your phone and do your job at the same time, you should probably just put it in your pocket and wait until break. Now, I'm able to multitask. So, I can go in, someone texts me or something like that, I can text them right back real quick. Within like 15 seconds, and I have a massive message I can send and keep doing my work. Not everyone's like that. And, you should really pay attention to yourself. If you're unable to do these kind of things, multitasking, you should probably not use your phone at work at all. And most places don't even allow you anyways. Hotels, it's, usually lenient. But a lot of workplaces, you're not allowed to use your phone at all until you're on break or lunch or obviously leaving. But what the issue is with using your cell phone is how we all seem to be very involved with everything, because you have social media, text messaging, videos, everything you can possibly think of, a little tiny computer in your hand, and you can use it for everything and anything you can possibly imagine. And the culture of using a cell phone, it seems to be degrading humanity right now. Like, if like a natural disaster is happening or you're in a war zone, people are actually filming it instead of going for cover. Heck, I watched someone as they got blown away because they were filming a tornado. Like, I'm sorry. If that tornado is like 5 miles away, okay, you can go out there, videotape it real quick as long as everything is safe for you to do so, and then come in and go right down to be safe. But I mean, it's literally the tornado was right outside their house, less than a mile, and they're sitting there filming, and then they wonder why they got blown away. I can see that. Like, I saw this post on Facebook and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world because it's so true. If they had cell phones back in the time when the Titanic sank, everybody would be in the water and they'd have their phones up and filming the Titanic as it's sinking. And it's so true. If there was an asteroid coming down, instead of people going in to find shelter, they'd have their phones up to the sky, filming it until it hit and killed them all. And it's sad. It's really sad how we are all so involved with a little PC in our hand. Now, I find myself like that too, and I get distracted. Heck, I'm even using my phone right now to record my podcast and to edit. I do all of my stuff on my phone other than my music, which I use my computer for. But usually everything I do, editing photography, creating music videos, podcasting, to logo designs and social media, everything I do on my phone. But more time passes and I recognize how much I'm distracted by it. Like every little thing, like I'm a Christian. I like to read my Bible, but I can't even get myself to do that because I'm so distracted by my device. And then if I'm trying to read on my phone a book or even the Bible or anything on my phone, I'm distracted because there's notifications going off and my girlfriend's messaging me or my mother's messaging me and I want to respond and I can't seem to get myself to ignore it. So, and it seems like everyone has that same issue. The only difference is some people are able to avoid it for certain things like driving, like me. And others, it literally takes up their entire being. Like if they were to lose that phone or if the power grid went out or something happens to where you can never use a cell phone again for the rest of your life, so many people would be lost. Sometimes I think I would be lost too without being able to do certain things, but overall, I can live without it. I spent a couple of years where I'd rarely ever even used my phone. But, some people use their phone all day, every day, and they're so distracted by it, they don't even realize what's going around them. Heck, there's people crossing the street and don't even realize that they're about to get hit by a car. Or I saw someone walking across and they get over and they run face first into a pole. Dude, I laughed so hard and I was driving by and I saw them, their face was straight down on their phone and all of a sudden, bam, face first into a pole. And sometimes when I'm walking, I look down at my phone too, but I use my peripheral vision for everything. And, not everyone's like that, but still, I'm always glancing up and looking around, go back down to finish my text, glance up, look around. Some people don't even do that. They just face first into their phone and that's it. The culture of using our cell phones seems to be very bad. I never even thought about a cell phone usage, when I was younger. Like nowadays, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, they're all using cell phones or tablets, and I can't even get behind it. I don't agree with it at all. Heck, my first cell phone, I think I was 16, and that's because I was a teenager and I needed something, to contact my dad or my mother or something if there was an emergency. And it was one of those flip phones, which I kind of miss those some days. Easy, small, throw in your pocket. And I didn't really get a smartphone until I was actually in college. That was actually, I think that was a gift from my mother. Was when I got to college, they got me a smartphone, a semi-smartphone, I guess you want to call it. But one of those sliding phones. Oh, what was it? It was a really nice, I can't remember. But it was a slider phone, semi-smart. I guess I want to call it semi-smart because things are way different now than they were then. But a true smartphone that I got, I think, was maybe 2 years after that, maybe a year and a half. from AT&T. What was that phone? Oh yeah, the Samsung Captivate. One of the worst phones I've ever used. I hated that phone with a passion. Then I went to an HTC. I can't remember the name of that one at all. Doesn't even ring a bell. But that phone was much better. But compared to what I have now, which is the S21 from Samsung, that was horrible. But, I never really even used my phone. I loved computers, but I didn't even use the computers like I should have. Because I should have been famous by now on YouTube, because I have had YouTube since the very beginning. But I never really used anything. Now I'm overly using everything, and I'm so far behind on, audience and marketing and everything that I need for my business. But that's all right. It's never too late. In this day and age, it's never too late to start on that stuff. You can always get famous somehow or rich, You just have to be dedicated. It's saturated, but your dedication can pay off. Persistence pays off. But anyways, the cell phone usage seems to be damaging the young minds. Because think of it this way. When we were in high school, you couldn't use a calculator except for calculus and a couple others. But anyways, on tests in math class, you weren't allowed to use a calculator at all. You had to do your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all that in algebra without a calculator. Now, every single phone has a calculator. MP3s went extinct because every cell phone is an MP3 now. Writing, for example, that's another one. You used to be able to write on a piece of paper and you had to know how to spell something. Now you have spell checker on literally everything. And when you're typing on your phone, now it pops up, hey, correct this. You forgot a punctuation, correct this. And they have everything, translators as well, so you don't have to learn another language. You can just translate something. There's so much that a phone does, and it's very helpful. It really is. But it's a double-edged sword. It can really hurt you. And I've noticed it too, because my math skills went from an A in high school to probably a C now. I remember algebra. I can do that. Pretty simple now. Still, I should say. And obviously basic, I'm kind of slow. I can get to the answer, but I'm kind of slow. I can't just be like, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da. It takes me a moment and I'll get it. But, like I said, cell phone usage has really kind of impaired us, it seems like. And we really got to kind of kill this culture just slightly. We got to make it to where we're not so dependent on a little device that goes in our pocket and use our minds more. It's okay to do research. And that's one of the things I do love about cell phones, though. So back in high school, we'd had to do research to learn something, to understand something, to write a report. And we'd have to find a computer that we could use and open it up and try to research, find a book, open it up, do some research, read, which is really good for you. But a cell phone, I can go on Google and try finding resources much faster now. If I had that back in high school, I could have done all my homework faster than crap. But, we have the cell phone now. And there's so much you can look at. So much you can do. And I think that's a very good thing. I think that's a pro for me, at least, because I like to research. So, for example, if I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling through and I see something intriguing and I read it, hey, this is a fact, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, wait a second, this is weird. Is this real? I will go on Google or something and I will type it all in and I will go through, look at multiple different sources and see what's actually being said to see if there's any truth to it or if it's all a lie before I even comment or respond on something, because I like to know what the truth is. And I can retain material pretty quick. But I love to research. I don't know what it is. Back in high school, I hated it. I think it's because I was forced to do it. Now it's like I want to have that knowledge. I want to understand it. So if something says this date or this, because nowadays because everyone uses their phones, there's so many fake misinformation all over the internet, especially social media. Social media is the worst. Heck, I've even seen some stupid things about cars. Even, like we all always have a laugh about blinker fluid and stuff. Or there was a post about that, and it was so well written and everything, and there was no laughing or anything that shows that it was a joke, like if they were being serious. So it's kind of like that kind of stuff that you see where some people will actually look at it and believe it. And some people don't know how to research. I swear. I think everyone has lost the ability to research and look up information and educate themselves like we were taught back in school. I mean, I think my generation is one of the best generations ever. But I don't know. I think life was more simplistic when we didn't have cell phones and computers, but at the same time, I enjoy them because there is a lot of things that it helps me with, especially my own businesses, especially podcasting. I absolutely love podcasting. I love making music. I love doing photography and editing, and I love the digital world for that. But there's a lot of things that are so negative about having a small computer in your hand, especially now. Let's see, that Samsung Captivate I bought so many years ago, that was a $200 phone, if I remember right. Yeah, it was about $200, maybe $250 to buy it brand new. Now, and that was then when it was, it's such a good smartphone, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like it was raised up as if it's one of the iPhones now. And now we're looking at the iPhones and Samsung Galaxy phones like I have, and they're over $1,000. But it is a huge difference between the hardware and everything, and especially the cameras. Let's see, that Samsung Captivate, I'm pretty sure that was like a 3 to a 5 megapixel camera in that. And wow, did those cameras suck at photography. But man, now with these brand new phones, you don't even have to buy a digital camera anymore. I still recommend it if you're a photographer and you're very serious about it, because DSLRs and mirrorless cameras have better stabilization. But with cell phones now, we can really record videos and take really good photography and edit straight on your phone and everything. I've been doing it a lot lately, where I'm taking more photography with my phone now than my own camera, and I'm editing everything on Lightroom on my phone. So, like I said, cell phones do have a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of negatives. It's just like the internet, a teen can use it and do well with homework and so on, but there's also negatives where they can check on porn and stuff. So there's always going to be a negative with the positives. But for cell phone usage, for the most part, it seems like now, within the last, 5-6 years is what I'm going to say, is everything has been worse with cell phone usage, especially driving. That is one of my biggest annoyances, is seeing somebody driving and they're using their phone. And I don't mean it's up to their ear. I mean they're texting and they're looking at Facebook. There was someone at work driving the van that was watching YouTube videos, and they had it in their hand while they're driving the company vehicle. Like, I just don't understand why people are like that. Like, you can't wait. Man, when I had to do a shuttle ride, from work, I would text my girlfriend and be like, hey, I'm going to go up to the airport. I'm going to go do this. I will message you when I get back. And then as soon as I send it, I shut my notifications on silent, and I put my phone in my pocket, and I drive and do what I got to do until I come back, and then I would message that I'm back. I think that's simple. That's very easy. I don't think we should be so dependent on a little device that fits in our pocket. But that's how I feel about the cell phone usage, and I would love to know all of your thoughts on the cell phone usage. Do you have things that cell phones have made very easy and better for your life? And do you have anything that you would say that you can't stand about cell phones? But with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful week and stay tuned for the next episode.